first animated film of 2018 is Early Man, the latest from Aardman Animations, who will probably continue to be known as the studio behind Wallace and Gromit, even nearly a decade since their last short. It's no secret I love Aardman Animations, so I disclose that in full bias. Their work combines three loves of mine in claymation, great animation, and quirky, witty British humour. They've always had rough spots with getting their films out into the world, bouncing between distributors, but now, in Europe, they're safe with StudioCanal. The less said about Lionsgate in America, the better. But enough about that. Let's delve into this high-concept claymation comedy, the latest from Nick Park, the man behind Wallace and Gromit. So, that high-concept hook, cavemen playing football, and I'm talking about proper football, or soccer as Americans call it, not the American variant that's more handball than football. In the midst of the Bronze Age, an advanced tribe uproots the Stone Age tribe from their valley, leaving them to the wilderness. Our plucky hero, young Doug, discovers the Bronze Age tribe's passion for the beautiful game, and challenges them to an all-stakes game with their valley on the line. All this, despite him just finding out their ancestors used to play football, the game having been lost somewhere along the tribal tree. On the soccer, certainly the film has a lot of in-jokes that won't travel to America. Most amusing is the parallel between the feeble skills of the tribe's ancestors at football to the overall dismal performance of the British national team in the last 5 decades. But such in-jokes remain unobtrusive, and once you're watching it, there's little reason any American, or any non-footballing nation really, can't enjoy it. Plus, the film only goes surface level into the game's strategy, so it's easy to pretend it's a sport new to the film, if that helps. So, it's an underdog sports tale, full of the usual training montages and setbacks prior to the climactic match. In a way, this is just Park continuing a tradition from the Wallace and Gromit shorts, Chicken Run and The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. That tradition being spoofing a given film genre on the side, whilst being a very good example of a film of said genre. Were-Rabbit made for a great vegetarian horror film, while Chicken Run was as great a prison break flick as they come. That quality doesn't quite continue in Early Man. The football, or soccer elements, are all very enjoyable, and I respect the game's place in society without getting any real enjoyment out of it myself, but they're played rather straight, with an unusual dilution of wit. This wouldn't be a problem if much was done with the prehistoric setting, but it bleeds into being just a backdrop after a fashion. That's probably the best way to describe the film in comparison to Chicken Run or Were-Rabbit. It just isn't as clever as it should be, and can actually be thin at times, so it's not up to Park's 2 prior features, nor the fantastic Shaun the Sheep Movie. I would, however, put it comfortably ahead of the enjoyable, though disposable, The Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists, or Band of Misfits as it is stateside. To be fair, it's been almost a decade since Park's given us anything, so some of this is the result of hype, for Aardman fans anyway, that the film wasn't going to live up to. On its own terms, it's mostly as charming and beguiling a comedy as you'd expect. After a fashion, the relative simplicity of the story is quite refreshing, living as we do in an era where many major American animated films overstuff themselves with backstory and plot twists. None of that here, and there are many points where it's quite refreshing how the film sidesteps a twist you'd fully expect to come. A lot of this is just a result of a more British approach to storytelling, but it's welcome all the same. The same can't really be said of the humour, which can be hit or miss at times, though it hits more than it misses, especially with the side jokes. Happily, the voice cast brings their A-game, which helps quite a bit with underwritten characters. Beyond Doug and their chief, Doug's motley tribe registers mostly as one gag characters, so the esteemed British actors are a great prop up there. Or take Doug's sidekick, a boar named Hognob. He's portrayed as wonderfully as Aardman's animal sidekicks often are, with vocal squeaks from Park himself no less, but he doesn't come close to the levels of Gromit, not that any really have. Most head scratching is when a female of the Bronze Age tribe goes undercover with Doug to train them for the game. It seems like the film's positioning their relationship much the same as Ginger and Rocky's in Chicken Run, at least is how much it contributes to the film. But once they get training, that subplot kind of peters out and sidelines itself. The most consistent character will be the villain, with Tom Hiddleston doing a hilarious faux French accent and the focus of some of the best scenes, but even he falters as an ineffectual wimp at times. As the animation goes, it speaks for itself, no? It's a bit like Pirates in that regard. Despite using CG more extensively than it might otherwise, it proudly foregrounds the intentional handmade feel of its clay character puppets on silicone skeletons, and the slight jitter of its frame-by-frame movement. The signature Aardman visual trait of being able to make out the fingerprints if you're looking for them is ever present. That's what I've always loved about their visual style. It's tremendously detailed and took lots of time and care, but deliberately rejects the top level polish others in the stop motion game gun for. It's a trade-off that works wonders with Aardman's films, giving them so much warmth and tactility that oozes charm and sweetness. Now, none of this is new to early Man, and occasionally the diluted humour and wit does make it seem a bit less special and warm, but only occasionally. All that hubbub about a film I still really enjoyed. When they're on form, Aardman's films rival the best of Pixar, but in a totally different way, to their credit. Early Man is not that. It's a very sweet and quirky underdog sports tale, low on story or gag surprises, befitting from many Aardman trademarks but light on sophistication or layering. It shows how strong those Aardman trademarks are that the film is still quite good, despite all that. The worst thing I can say is that the film is not especially memorable or easy to get excited about, but there are many worse things you can say about animated stop-motion cinema. If you loved Aardman's past triumphs, you're certain to like Early Man. A minor stumble, but they still take the match with this one. Thanks for watching the review, folks. As always, I'm your host, Mike Culligan of Cartoon Karma. If you liked what you saw, leave a like or a comment, that'd be pretty neat. Subscribing would be even neater. Or you can check out my other videos, where I cover animation of all shapes and sizes. Perhaps even follow the channel on Facebook and Twitter. All your choice, but it sure brings a smile to my face. Until next time, folks.